All right, guys, Coach Dennis here. I am going to go through the atomic structure assignment. A few people are getting stuck on this. I know I should have probably put one out earlier, but I'm going to go through the two main charts in here. As for the questions, you can find those in the notes, and then also if you can fill out these charts, those questions shouldn't be too bad. But as always, if you guys have any questions over any of this stuff, I can't read minds. I don't know exactly where you might be struggling unless you tell me. So unless you email me or talk to me, I don't really know. All right, so I'm going to go through the first chart real quick. I'll do an example of each of them, maybe two. But so the very first chart is probably the easiest one. You're generally going to get at least a question on the test. This used to be a short answer where you'd fill in an entire table like this. So be ready to be able to do that. And then one thing always, whenever you're doing anything in this class from here on out, if you haven't done so already, make sure you pull up a periodic table. ptable.com, perfectly fine. It actually gives you more than enough what you need to know. All right, so let's, I'm just going to do one from this first table because this first table is really easy. I'll do one. I won't do the first one. I will do, I'll do the argon. I'll do argon. So first things first is you have the element name. So argon right there. So maybe the most difficult thing a lot of times might be just trying to find the element on your periodic table. So argon, it's going to be right over here on your periodic table. So if you look at it, this 18 up top, that tells me the atomic number. So atomic number is 18. But what's also equal to my atomic number is my number of protons, because protons are what gives us our identity. And then also my number of electrons. So if I have the same number of positive particles, or my protons, and same number of negative particles, which are my electrons, that means my atoms are neutral. So, and that's a question later on in this assignment. So yeah, atomic number. So one thing to remember, atomic number is equal to your number of protons. And those that aren't in class, you guys won't know this, but P plus is my abbreviation for proton. So atomic number is equal to our number of protons, and then the hashtag, or what's called a pound symbol, that means number, if you didn't know that. And it's also equal to our number of electrons. So protons and electrons equal to our atomic number. All right, so we have argon. Oh yeah, we need the symbol for that. We look, argon's just A with lowercase r. Make sure that's lowercase, because if you uppercase it, that is something totally different. So yeah, we got argon, atomic number 18. So now all we have left is our mass number and number of neutrons. So mass number, you can get this from your periodic table. So if you look, argon has the mass of 39.948. Well, we're going to be dealing with whole numbers here. So if you aren't given the mass number already, you're going to have to round off the periodic table. So our mass is 39.9, so I'm going to round that up to 40. 40. So then, if I'm trying to figure out my number of neutrons, all I'm going to do is subtract my number of protons from it, because my mass number is equal to my number of protons plus my number of neutrons, which I use NO for an abbreviation. So if I subtract my number of protons from it, which is 18, that will give me my number of neutrons, because that's what my mass number is equal to. Protons plus neutrons is my mass, so if I take away my protons, all I'm left with are my neutrons. So if we have 18, 40 minus 18, so that should be what? 22. 22. And sorry, it doesn't look that great. I'm using a at least I'm using a mouse and not the trackpad. Might be a little more difficult to draw in. But yeah, so minus 18 from 40, get 22. So that should be pretty easy. The bottom table may look difficult, but it's actually not too bad. You just got to know what your isotope notation looks like. So here, for isotope notation, this is your mass number. And this can be kind of confusing because it's opposite of what you see on the periodic table. So if you see on the periodic table, we have our atomic number on top and our mass on the bottom. So it's the opposite on our isotope notation, is our mass is on top and our atomic number is on bottom. So atomic number. That's our atomic number right there. So it's switched. But one thing to keep in mind is your mass is always going to be more than your atomic number. So if you see the larger number on top with your atomic number on the bottom, that means we're using isotope notation. So with this one, if you're given the isotope notation, I actually do not even need to look at the periodic table for this one. So if you look, we want the name, so we give the symbol plus the mass, so 207. Let me, so 207. Yeah, like I said, sorry about that. So 207. Or you might see it as, let's see if you can actually read it. This is lead, and you probably can't read that at all. But lead 207, you'll see it like that also. So if we find lead on our periodic table, even though I don't even have to look at it to fill this all out, but just so you guys know, lead is number 82 on the periodic table. So not even really looking at the periodic table if I'm given my isotope notation. So I have my mass number, my atomic number, and my symbol given there. So atomic number is 82. Oh, come on. 82. Which is equal to my number of protons and neutrons. Let me get a new mouse pad. It's just not working as well. So atomic number equal to my number of protons equal to my number of electrons. So we got that. So now mass number, remember that's the number on top right here. So 207. 207. So then to figure out neutrons, I'm just going to subtract my number of protons from there. So 82 minus 207. It's going to give us 125. So if you're given the isotope notation, you can basically fill out the whole entire thing pretty easily. I'll do one that doesn't have the isotope notation. I will do this bottom one because it's probably going to be the more difficult one, more than likely. Let me erase this. All right. Come on, mouse. All right. So I'm going to do the very bottom one. So here, these might be the more difficult assignments, or not assignments, but problems, is where it just gives you like either the atomic number of neutrons. But if you're given the atomic number and number of neutrons, that gives us everything we need to know. Because atomic number, that's going to tell us what element we are. It's also going to tell us our number of protons and electrons. So let's just fill in what we can fill in without even looking at the periodic table. So atomic number equal to my number of protons equal to my number of electrons, so 25 and 25. So got those. Now my mass number, that's going to be equal to my protons plus my neutrons, just as a reminder. So equal to your protons plus your neutrons. This is equal to atomic number same with your electrons. Those are both equal to that. So figure out my mass number. I'm just going to add my neutrons plus my protons. So 30 plus 25. That's going to give me 55, right? So I haven't even looked at the periodic table. And that's just so ugly. All right, let me erase this real quick. All right. So 55. So 55. So 30 plus 25 gets us 55. So all that information without even looking at the periodic table. So still, we can start doing our isotope notation. We have 55, 55. Oh, crap. So 55. That's on top. On bottom, we have our atomic number 25. And then from our atomic number, we can figure out what it is. So let's look at 25. So it's manganese, so we just have Mn. Mn. And then for name, just Mn with the mass number. Or you could put manganese with the mass number. So there you go. That's how you do those ones. So hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. Oh yeah, let me add this real quick. But yeah, if you need help, always feel free to ask. But the math in here, not too hard. It's just knowing where to find the numbers from. So neutrons, just remember, is mass number minus your number of protons. That's how you get that. So have a good day, guys, and good luck.